A randomized controlled trial is a type of study used to determine whether a cause and effect relationship exists between a treatment and outcome by comparing two groups, one receiving the treatment of interest and the other not receiving this treatment. Let's say researchers wanted to determine whether moderate chocolate consumption could improve quality of life in adults, pretending we don't already know the answer to this. A range of adults are selected from the general public to participate in the study, and each eligible participant is then randomly allocated to either a treatment group or control group. The treatment group receives a meal plan including a serve of chocolate per day, whereas the control group receives a similar meal plan without chocolate. In other studies, there might be a placebo in place of the treatment. In other words, a fake treatment assigned to the control group to ensure participants do not know which group they have been assigned to. The purpose of the control group is to mimic what would happen if the treatment was not present in the same population at the same time. Think of it like two parallel universes. To measure whether the treatment is effective, quality of life for each participant is measured before the trial starts and after the trial is complete. Assessors study the differences between the data from the start and finish of the trial and the difference in outcomes between the two groups. Like all other experiments, randomized control trials can be subject to bias. To reduce bias, it's important to have random selection and allocation of participants, enough participants, identical conditions for both groups, an adequate trial duration, and blinding. This is where researchers or participants or both do not know who is in the treatment or control group, as this information can influence results. To summarize, randomized controlled trials study the effect of a treatment on a population compared to the effect of no treatment on the population. The trial is randomized as participants are randomly selected and allocated to groups in order to avoid bias. The trial is controlled as the group receiving the treatment is compared to the control group. This control group often contains a placebo treatment in place of the real treatment in order to blind participants from their group allocation. Data is collected prior to and after the experiment that is analyzed by researchers to determine whether there is variation in outcomes between the two groups and whether this change can be attributed to the treatment itself.